Steel chips are, in my opinion, one of the coolest effects on armor models. If you wanna paint nice looking chips, you have to try your best to keep them small and in scale. So small that I have to use photos instead of my usual 360 shots. This technique is very time consuming and can take dozens of hours to complete. So sit back, relax, and suffer with me. What is going on, you beautiful human beings? I want to start by saying that I apologize. I probably don't sound like usual, and it's because I'm a bit sick right now, and everything is fine, don't worry. I'm feeling much better today, but a few days ago, it wasn't that great. I still feel tired all the time, but I'll do my best to keep you entertained and informed with this video. So someone suggested I should show you how the model's gonna change before and after each technique, so here we go. This is how the model looked with the first layer of light colored chips. And this is how it's gonna look after this video. I usually paint those steel chips with dark grey color, which creates a very nice effect when combined with enamel rust tones, and the result looks truly nice. But this model represents an abandoned tank, so the chipping should look more rusty than usual. And because of that, I decided to use Panzer Ace's Dark Rust, Vallejo Mahogany Brown, and the usual suspect, acrylic drying retarder from AK Interactive. And of course, clean and wet tap water. After some experimenting, I found this ratio. 3 drops Dark Rust, 3 drops Mahogany Brown, 2 drops retarder, 1 drop tap water. This mixture offers the best of both worlds. It's not too dark or too bright and looks like a quite okay basic rust tone. Alright then, let's begin. I decided to start with this small panel because it's small. That means it'll be done in no time and I'll have a clear idea about how the effect's gonna look. My process is always the same, so I start with the edges and then spread the chipping towards the center of each panel. Always make sure to turn the model around so you can access each nook and cranny. Then I continued with the large side plate. It's never a bad idea to divide long sections of your model into smaller imaginary segments. That's exactly what I'm doing here. It keeps me more focused and also more motivated, as I can see small portions of the model getting finished relatively quickly. Finished in terms of chipping, of course. I'm sure many of you know that painting these darker steel chips is pretty straightforward. The entire technique is basically just filling in the previously painted light chips with a darker color that represents metal showing through. This color can be dark grey, dark brown, or whatever depending on the condition of the tank. In this case, it's an abandoned vehicle, so they're more rusty. One of the very important things is to keep in mind that when you're filling in the light chips, you should always keep a very thin outline. So, in other words, these dark steel chips should be slightly smaller than the first light layer. That makes this technique slightly easier because you don't have to think about where you should apply them or how big they should be or what shape they should have, because you already done that with the first chipping layer. That makes this step more relaxing in its own way, but on the other hand, you should always stay focused because if you mess something up, it's gonna be quite visible. Another thing is that although slightly easier, this step is also much more time consuming than light chipping. In fact, it's more time consuming than anything else. Seriously, I cannot think about any other step or technique that takes more time. Here's a small example. Some very large 35th scale models I made needed more than a month, in some extreme cases more than 2 months of my time to paint all the chipping effects. But of course that's also because I only spend roughly an hour each night working on those. I managed to chip this tank in 6 days, and that's only because I rushed it. A lot. Okay, remember this part with a missing fender? Last time I said you can create a pretty interesting effect with chipping in places like this. By this point you can see how it's gonna look, although it will take its final form when some enamel rust tones are blended over the entire part. This is another trick I learned from Adam Wilder. He even demonstrates this in one of his videos. You can take a look at it by clicking here. Last time I also talked about how light colored chips might look out of place when painted over those dark fake outlines around hatches. This step tones the weirdness down significantly, although the upcoming techniques like rust tones and dust effects will knock it down even more. That's why sometimes you have to make certain effects heavier, so that they'll remain visible after the model is finished. I'd also like to mention the usual disclaimer here. This is not how realistic chips should look like. They should have slightly different shape and also their amount and size should be slightly different, but this is simply the way I like to paint my chips, to add texture and definition to the entire model. And now to change the pace a little bit, I decided to paint the main gun cover. It was mentioned in the comments that this part was made from wood, but when I was building the model I just presumed it was welded from metal. And honestly, from the single photo showing this part, I still think it's metal. But anyway, I'll be using a lot of artistic license here, so my apologies. I decided to paint it in light grey color, as if the real thing was painted with some random paint that was lying around. If you turn the picture into black and white, it still resembles the historical photo, so I think we're good, at least for now. This is the first time I'm using these oil brushers from Ammo. I'm not a huge fan of this oversized brush. I just think it isn't very precise, but then again, it might be just me not being used to it. This dark grey one named Streaking Brusher has smaller brush, which feels so much better. To be completely honest, I wasn't excited about those oil brushers. I just found the overall idea a bit silly. But I'm starting to kinda see the point. They can be really handy, especially when you need to quickly apply oil paints on a small part like this. There's no need to squeeze out oils from their tubes into a palette and then clean it up when you're done, so I guess they can save you a lot of time. Maybe I'll give them a few more tries in the future. So now I mixed a very light color from Deck Tan and white and applied it with a sponge. This will create some random flakes in the paint, and yes, you guessed it, this is the first light chipping layer. Then I mixed the same tone from oil paints and speckled them over the surface in 2 steps. First was very diluted and created this more distressed effect, and the second was thicker and created lots of fine chips. And then I realized the result started to look a bit like a zinc plate, but that wasn't my intention at all, and it won't look like that when it's all finished. I'm not even sure if zinc plating was a thing back in the 40s. Now using a dark grey Vallejo color, I painted the remaining parts of the gun mount. This is where the gun was bolted onto the turret, so it could be possibly left in steel finish. This isn't evident from historical photos, but like I said, I'm using lots of artistic license here. For those of you who don't know, artistic license is just a fancy term used when you just make things up. Anyway, this grey tone is gonna work in conjunction with enamel rust tones, which I'm gonna apply in another video, and together they'll create a pretty authentic steel surface. It might look weird right now, but you'll have to trust me, it's almost like some sort of magic. That's why I also applied this paint to other parts that would contain lots of oxidized steel. With that out of the way, I could now apply the same chipping effects like on the rest of the tank. Note that I only applied the first layer of light chips using a sponge. That's because this part is so light that the contrast is gonna be strong enough even without the first light layer. Also note how I'm painting larger chips around weld beads. This is another effect that will become relevant later. It mostly represents paint that was removed prior to welding. I'll add several extra effects here and it's gonna look pretty cool, you'll see. And to make the plate look just like the rest of the model, I also applied some washes around details. The reason why I applied them after the chipping is because those oil brushes I blended earlier, I just wanted to give them some time to dry. Simple as that. And then I chipped the turret the same way as the hull. I almost forgot to mention that each time I mixed this rusty tone, the result was slightly different. That's because even if you keep the ratio, in this case 50-50, each drop of paint is gonna be slightly different, and as a result, each mixture will differ as well. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, it's not like the results are gonna be the first thing you'll notice, and they'll probably get obliterated with enamel rust tones, but still it's something worth mentioning. And that's it, my mates. Now we have those time-consuming techniques out of the way, so everything else should go a bit smoother now. Well, except the rust tones, those usually take some time as well. But not as much as chipping. I still don't know how heavy those enamel rust effects will be, because I'm playing it all very safe with this model, but we'll see in the next video, if I don't come up with some extra technique in the meantime. And again, I apologize if I didn't sound like my usual self. I'm still feeling a little under the weather. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already, because I have more content like this coming your way. Thank you all for watching, I'll see you mates in the next one, and here are some bloopers. I decided to start with this small panel because it's small. It's never a bad idea to divide. It's never a bad idea to divide. I'm sure many of you know that painting these darker steel chips is. By this point, you can see how it's gonna look, although it will take its final form when some enamel rust tones are blended over the entire part. But that wasn't my intention at all. And to make the plate look like, and then I chipped the rest, and the reason why I applied them after the chipping is because those oil brushes that I blended earlier, blah blah blah.